I'm pretty excited to chat to Peter Karaoglanis from Rent Sale Buy Move today. And the reason I wanted to chat to Pete is he is someone who is on the ground when it comes to helping vendors capture their property with videos. Pete has a lot of hidden talents, but predominantly right now, his hidden talent as a videographer is very handy because Pete is also involved in the construction industry and he's one of the few that's allowed to have access to properties under an essential work permit. So Pete, thank you for spending time with me to give us some really valuable insights today.
Fantastic to be here, Kate. It's really exciting times.
Well, I want to chat about the prevalence of virtual inspection videos because here in Victoria, we can't go through properties, not even one-on-one. So some states have different rules at the moment while we're in lockdown. But obviously, a lot of buyers are making decisions around inspection videos. We're not necessarily recommending this, but it's happening. And vendors are keen to showcase their property. So talk to me about the prevalence and how things have changed of late.
Well, we've been forced into it, so there's no real choice. If you want to get your property onto market, an amateur virtual tour is the way to go. And the key thing with a virtual amateur tour is simply this. It's an appetizer. It's designed to actually showcase your home, to create interest until the point the property can be opened in person.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And it's to give people an idea of whether it makes the shortlist or not. There are a lot of buyers out there, though. You just said it before, we've been forced into this. If someone has to buy, if there's a degree of desperation, I am saying people make a decision to purchase off the back of an inspection video. And those that do it safely and comfortably will perhaps have an inclusion there that allows them to see the property before they go unconditional. So a subject to, but not every agent, not every vendor, and not every negotiation enables that. So in those situations, the videos are critical, as are the inspections that the vendors facilitate, maybe via WhatsApp or FaceTime. But talk to me about the limitations of a video.
Okay, so the big difference between an amateur and a professionally shot video is with a professional, they're doing it all the time. They've got better cameras, better lenses. They know how to position the home. The key critical thing is what we call post, which is the post work that happens on the video. So they even out the lighting, they colour enhance. Sometimes they add B-roll, which is separate film that gets overlaid, and sometimes a little bit of music. So that's what they do for a living. However, the key best tool that everyone has access to is a mobile phone. And today the lenses in the mobile phones are better than many camera lenses 10 to 15 years ago. So if you're actually asked to do an amateur video, it can be daunting. Here's just a few quick tips on what to do so you're most successful. So most people, when they're taking a photo, they'll hold the phone vertically or horizontal, or not horizontal. And so that is not how you shoot. You hold it in landscape. And when you shoot, always keep your lens to the left. And you keep the camera at chest height. So when you walk around the home, just pretend that you're holding a book to your chest and you walk around the property. And when you're in your own home, you may be bored with it, but there's a term called dwell time, and that is the natural amount of time we spend in a property. So most inspections, for a first inspection, is about 15 minutes. So when you walk into your home, if there's a room on the right, you always go that way first. And you walk around the room in a really deliberate fashion, showing people actually what's going on. And when you move around like that, that's called a panning shot. So it's super smooth because people want to see how big the room is, walk into your wardrobe if you've got to walk through one. Exactly the same in your bathrooms. The whole home has to be smooth and methodical.
I'm glad that you mentioned those tips because when we're videoing, particularly for interstate buyers, we have to capture everything for them. And so I've obviously got this down to a fine art after years of doing it. And you're right, people do turn right when they go into a property. And obviously, if I can't get through privately and I'm there in the queue for a normal open for inspection prior to COVID, I need to keep away from people because I want to give a free-flowing video that doesn't have people feeling uncomfortable being caught in a picture. So I actually turn left, but that's just a little buyer's agent hack.
Do you know why people go right? So assuming you're in the home on your own, is research was done years ago for police chasers, and 85 to 90% of people, when they're pursuing them, will turn right. That's because most of the population is right-handed. So when they're actually setting up roadblocks, they'll do it that way. And then I did further research and found that supermarkets are exactly the same. So the greatest success will come when you walk the natural flow of people. But you are a contrarian, Kate. You'll go left.
It's all about getting a good video in a short amount of time. Now, Pete, aside from the hacks that you gave us with how to hold the camera, what are some of the things that vendors should think about if they're filming their own home during lockdown? What are some of the things that they can do to enhance their home outside of how they're holding their camera?
Okay, so the key big things are exactly the same if you had a real opening, is declutter the whole home. And if you think you've got as far as you can, do it even more. Your wardrobe, because where there's walk-in wardrobes, people want to see the size. Make sure your kitchen and your bathrooms are neat and clean. Pretend the Queen's coming to visit the home. Do it up like that. The other big thing is a lot of people have light-saving light globes. Get rid of them. Go down to Coles or Woolworths or wherever and buy daylight globes. They're a very white globe, and what they'll do is they'll make the room feel cleaner and bigger. Strip back your curtains. If you've got old daggy curtains, pull them off. Make sure there's a lot of light in the home. And when you're filming, do it at the best time of the day. So if your home's neat and clean, decluttered, you've got a lot of light in, that is the best thing you can do for your property.
This is fantastic. Now, I've got one little question I want to talk to you about because I've got my own ideas on it, and that is, what should buyers look past?
Okay, so understanding it's an amateur video, you've got to look past that. And I often say to buyers when I've heard comments, oh, it wasn't shot very well, I actually said to one guy recently, how about you go shoot your own home like you're doing it and just see how you go? Well, he got back to me the next day and said, oh, I can see what you mean. So the key thing not to do is judge the home. So long as there's no structural issues or health issues, understanding it may not have been professionally prepared, just understand it's a home like everyone else. Be comfortable, and you're actually seeing it as it is, which is a positive.
Yes. Yeah, in a lot of cases that they're definitely as they appear. And I agree with you. The things that I ask buyers to look past is really cool styling. When it's trendy, when you've got all of your on-trend colours and your beautiful linen bedspreads and gazillions of pillows on the bed and ferns everywhere, when everything's painted stark white and there's lots of green, you've got to see past that, because the house might have some fundamental flaws. It might have some structural issues, which is not easy to pick up with a video. But if you can get a building inspection done, you've got that covered. But if the floor plan, the ceiling height, the lack of natural light, if those things are problematic, you can't be dazzled by trendy furnishings and lots of plants. It can be a real issue. Now, what I'd like to ask you to finish off this interview is, what should buyers look closer into? Because clearly when we get a video provided to us, it's been curated, whether it's professional or it's provided by the vendor, they're showing you what they want you to see. But in a lot of cases, vendors are happy to FaceTime or to WhatsApp on a Zoom call and actually be accountable to showing buyers what they're asking to see. What do you recommend some of those questions should be?
The key really big and important areas, like the wet areas. You need to know the size of the kitchen. So if you can see inside the oven, open up the cupboards. That's a really big thing. Exactly the same in a laundry. Why the laundry is important, being a wet area, is that you have to be able to look for mold and has there been any flooding. Bathrooms are exactly the same. So these are the big expensive items that will need to be replaced if they're not right. And we've had buyers go into a property, you hear all sorts of horror stories, but floor joists that are rotten out, but you can't see it.
Yeah.
So there are little telltale signs. So in a kitchen, ask them to go to the very base, get them to open up the cupboard doors just below the sink. You will see watermarks. If you see them all over the place, and you'll see rot coming in, you'll know there's an issue. Gardens, which is really important, is it big enough? Storage area, garage, if there is one.
Absolutely. I was asking someone the other day, show me all the PowerPoints. I need to see how many there are. So just the things that we'd ordinarily look for in a house, you've got to be on your game if you're partaking in a Zoom inspection, and ask all of the questions about the things that really will matter if you are taking the keys. And to finish off this interview, I want to say that buying sight unseen carries a lot of risk, and it's not something I'm recommending. And I'm seeing people out there saying, well, maybe if it's land value, I'll go for it. A tip on that front is if you're buying a property for land value and your plan is that you'll subdivide it or you'll further develop it or you'll renovate extensively, make sure that you can do what you want to do, because it doesn't matter if you're buying it for land value and then all of a sudden you find out that you're restricted from creating the dream that you wanted to create.
Oh, it's so true. Here's one other little tip is if I'm looking for one, I'll actually ask the vendor to go outside their property and show me the street. Really
important and a great tip. Pete, it's been great chatting to you. I look forward to doing this again with you soon.
Look forward to it. Have a great day.
You too.